This is February 27th, 1992. Pardon me?
Carlton.
Carlton. What am I saying? Margaret Carlton. Thank you. All right.
Jean and I are at Margaret Carlton's home on Oak Avenue this morning, and she has a very interesting home. It looks to me like you're a collector, and you have a very good and extensive shell collection, and little demitasse cups and little spoons and all sorts of interesting things. And maybe after we talk, you'll show us around a little bit. Now, may I call you Margaret?
That's right.
Margaret, when did you come to the island? And how did you find out about the island?
Well, it was a bad winter. It was cold, and we were hunting for something warm. And finally, we got down into Florida, and we stopped overnight with some charming people, and they said, if you've never been down farther, you better go on. So we came on down, and my husband had been taking care of a man's business in Vermont while they were in Florida, and he said, let's go over and see them. And they were over here in Bradenton. So we came across to Bradenton. And from Bradenton, they brought us out to the island, and my husband said, well, this is it. So by that time, the weather had changed. It was beautiful.
Now, was your husband retired from
No.
Well,
No.
what was his work?
He was in agricultural work. He was working for at that time he was working for a milk country company up in but doing the business with the farmers in the New England states.
And you lived in Vermont?
And we lived in Vermont.
Now, what year was this that you decided to?
This was 1957. First time that we came to the island.
How many places have you lived? This home and the other? How many places have you?
Here on the island?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we rented
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years.
Right.
In 1967, we bought this one
Right.
here.
Right. Okay.
So we've had this since 67.
So when, now you were telling me that your husband was in Kiwanis Club,
Yes.
and was that in Vermont? And he met some people from the island? Was that the people you were telling me about?
Yes, he was lieutenant governor for one of the districts in Kiwanis. And then we came down here, and he was active all the time.
In the island Kiwanis Club. And what was the story about the time you were coming to the island and your car was robbed?
Mm-hmm.
That was a sad situation. He had been sick, and so I knew that I was going to have to be in that winter. So I couldn't roam as I had roamed before. So we brought down a lot of stuff that I wanted to look over and put in shape and so forth.
Pictures?
Yes,
Oh.
pictures and books and things that memorabilia.
Mhm.
That I was going to get it. I knew I was going to have time. I thought I was going to have time, and so we brought the carload, and I had it packed very nicely in little containers that I could handle. So we stopped over in somewhere over the other side of the state, and we went out in the morning, and my husband, he got up around 4 o'clock in the morning, and he went out to see just to see that everything was all right, I suppose. And he came in and he says, we've been robbed. The windows had been smashed in the car, and everything had been taken, well, he found some things outside, sitting on the ground. They hadn't got away with all the things, but we lost our silver. We lost, because we had just, we were renting down here at Holmes Beach, and we didn't have the things that we had at home. And so we had brought some silver with us, and we had lots. I think the people who robbed us were terribly disappointed when they got into the containers that they had, but we did put in, we did collect some over $5,000 at that time.
But you lost a lot of your photographs and...
We lost the photographs, and of course you couldn't get anything for those. But I was going to get those into albums. Oh, I was going to do a lot that winter.
Can you remember back the early days, what, any kind of storms or things that came along?
We missed them, but there was one, since I've been here, that we did go in, that I went in town. He died in 1977, and I went, and since then I have gone in. I was evacuated one night. That was a few years back. I can't remember. When did we have a bad storm anyway?
I'm not good at dates. I know we've had a few that the water has risen and people have been asked to leave.
I didn't have the car at that time. Oh, so it's not too long ago. I took the car. Where did I take it? Well, anyway, this night of the storm, I didn't have any way of going. I was called, and I didn't have any way of getting off the island. And I thought, well, I've seen some storms here before, and I think I'll stay put. So I went back to bed, and that was around 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. And I did go back to bed, and at 4 o'clock I was called again, and I went with Connie Stunts. We went in town, and we found a very nice place there, and we stayed. And we came back, though. We stayed over a day, and then we found out that people were coming back onto the island to see what the damage was. And I was interested in what had happened to my house, and I found it standing with no damage whatever. So I was very lucky.
Now I noticed the canal is right here.
Yes.
On your backyard. Does that water ever come up and into your yard?
I have never had it come up, and I have seen it go over the wall on the other side, but it did not come on. The wind was just right, so it took it over onto the cooks were living there at that time, and it did take it over onto the edge of their seawall, but I didn't have it.
Yeah. Now Oak Avenue, you've lived here in this house
Since 1967.
67. And this has been a popular street mainly because the fire station was down at the end.
Yes, we had the fire station over there. We used to go over there to vote.
And the firemen's dances.
Well, we used to hear them.
Oh.
But my husband was not a dancer. And by the time we had come here, he was retired.
Now, since he was in agriculture, did he do a lot of these plantings in your yard and?
Well, he did.
Gardens?
He did, but I haven't been able to keep them up.
I was just wondering with the soil here, it seems like most people have a problem with that.
Yes, yes, and the trees have grown, and I've had people who take it on a take it on a yearly basis, and if I'm not here, I understood this year that the grass was up about a foot high, and the neighbors came in and cut it for me. But I had left the money to have it taken care of, and the people who were going to take it, who were going to take care of it. I don't think I want that written. I don't think I want that because it was a neighbor. Can you cut that out?
We'll take care of it, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
try to.
Can you take that out?
We'll do that.
Because
Mhm.
I wouldn't want them
Mhm.
to ever get in.
Could I ask you how old you are?
Sure.
How young you are?
I was born on March 24th, 1900.
So you're 91.
92 this year, huh?
92
Next month,
this
huh?
year.
92
Oh,
in
that's
March,
wonderful.
next month.
Now, I notice you're wearing a coquina necklace.
Oh,
Is that-
sure.
Did you make that?
Yes.
Has that been one of
Why
your
not?
hobbies? You,
Yes.
you were a sheller?
Shells. Yes, I was a sheller. And I have quite a lot of a collection of shells that I've got from all over the world. I can't tell you which ones they are necessarily.
I bet the shell you're holding in your lap. Where did
Well,
that come from?
this one came from the Warren Pit in Sarasota. And this is millions of years old, so
Oh,
they tell
it's a
me.
fossil.
Yeah, this is a fossil. And I did bring this one out because it's good. It's,
That's a wonderful.
yeah, I've got a lot of shells that are good more or less.
And I noticed in back of you here, there are flowers made of shells.
Yes.
Did you make those too?
Well, I made some of them, but some of them I have had given to me, and those over there were given to me. And people know that I like shells, so I have all sorts of shells all around.
Oh, that's wonderful. Shells and flowers. That certainly makes a pretty display.
Well, it's been fun.
Now, did you belong to some of the women's club here on the island? And I think
I
you
never-
remember Rosa Church.
Yes, I am a member of Rosa Church.
Did you join some of the clubs? The women's club?
No, because when we first came, we were here, the first time that we came, we were here for just 3 months. And it was 3 months for a while. And then after we bought this place, but there's just been 1 year when my husband was ill that we didn't go north in the summer. So
Now, do you still leave and go someplace in the summer? Or you here year-round?
yes,
You do.
yeah.
To New England?
I've been to Europe a couple of times. My son is he's a professor at the University of he's at Rochester, New York, at the university there. And I have been on some trips to Europe with him, or I met him in Europe.
Well, that's wonderful. You got to travel.
Yes, I did. My husband and I went to Europe the first time, and I had, do they say itchy feet? That if you've ever been, you want to go again,
Yeah.
and you keep on wanting to go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking that, oh, don't put this in. Oh
Just,
my.
mostly
Oh my.
in the 30-some years you've been.
Well, when we came, there wasn't a second story on any house. we were all the same level. And then I remember those that were put up down on the bend here, as you go around. Those were put up.
The Martinique and Holmes
Well,
Beach.
yes, and then the Martinique was put up. And I don't know how they got away with that. But
Well, that's a long story we won't go into here.
but there haven't been any others that have gone up like that. But I do notice now, as I go up the beach, it used to be when we would go up the beach, there were just the little low houses, and I have seen the beach at the south end. I've seen that go out because, and I remember that first hurricane that when I was here, when we didn't know that we could come back onto the island, but they did open it, and people did come back and went down through to Bradenton Beach, and but when we came back, we had to stay in town another day or two before we were allowed to come back. And then we found out that other people had been coming back, and so we got permission to come back. But because I was anxious to see what had happened to the house here, of course. But I've never had any damage from any of the storms. He was over here, and I think that he had something to do with that house down there, either fixing it up or putting in, but I can't tell what it was that he did to it.
Well, I know it was built, I heard 50 years ago, so.
Well, you see, we bought this in 37. I mean, what did I say?
57.
In 57, and it was, this house was 10 years old when we bought it.
Yeah, just panning around inside this beautiful home, a lot of collection.
Those little things on this side were given to me by some visitors I had from Romania.
Mm-hmm.
They made them while they were here and gave me the little gifts.
Yeah, that's very interesting. There's a lot of work there. A lot of work.
Years of misspent youth. I guess mine was misspent youth.
Don't you have memories of collecting the shells?
Oh, yes. But I can't remember what normal death. This was an old fellow, an artist down here on the island who this one is
that in?
and that her hair is real hair, and it's a little bit skewed now on her head because it should be the part should be right over there, and it's over here.
That's Eleanor, and you've had since you were 9 years
She
old.
looks pretty good for over it. Wow.
Well, my children, I bring her down and have her restrung, but I've just kept her.
Well,
Nice ones in here, right? Uh-huh.
you have sand in there on the bottom?
Well, those are foreign shells. I've picked up shells when I've been, I remember on the beach.
Mm-hmm. It's getting tougher and tougher, I understand, to bring in almost anything.